Well, last week we covered the absolute best beginner bike of all time, the Turbo Hayabusa, the world's most interesting, unique motorcycle. However, much like a coin, there's always another side, a yin to the yang, peanut butter to the jelly, a worst to the best, and today we're taking a swing at the worst beginner bike of all time, the Honda Rebel. Now, obviously, I'm kidding. The Rebel is a great beginner bike if it's a little neutered and bland, but it will get up and go with that quintessential Honda precision. There is a reason why it's been the standard MSF motorcycle since the literal dawn of the universe, but the question we're answering today is not if the Honda Rebel is a good beginner bike. Rather, we're going to take a deep dive into the motorcycle, find out where exactly Honda messed up, and then mercilessly clown on them with a barrage of memes and sarcastic quips. Yep, it's Monday, my dear squid, and that means it's another So You Want a Blank Bike video. I am your shepherd through this perilous journey called life, Yami Noob. But seriously, if you ask me one more time whether I think you should get a Ninja 400 or an R3, I will literally reach through the screen and slap you. Actually, that's not possible, but I will die a little inside. Just get the one you like better, they're basically the same. And if you don't think they're the same, we have a 27-minute detailed video explaining which one you should get. I have you covered on all fronts. But before we can talk about the Rebel, dude, have you looked at your pubes lately? What? We've all been stuck inside for exactly 412 years, but that is no excuse to be farming yourself a nice crop of trouser bush. Oh man, I just gotta look at your nose hairs too. Come on, my guy, you gotta treat yourself better than this. You know, the best way to fight quarantine fatigue is to keep yourself looking good and fresh. You need to hit up Manscaped and buy yourself the best dang ball shaver known to man. It's got more torque than a Busa, a higher redline than an R1, and it's all safe skin blade technology so you won't power chop your nuts right off. But it doesn't stop there. They've got a nose hair trimmer for that nostril forest. That way people can stand to look at your face again, and nail clippers so you can stop biting your nails. All that, and they'll sell you the finest in gooch juice repelling ball deodorants. The real question is why you haven't clicked that link down below and use the code YAMINOOB to get 10% off your order and free shipping. Is it because you want to look like a Sasquatch having a bad fur day? Just click the dang link, you furry goof. There's a human underneath all that fuzz. Use the code YAMINOOB and get yourself trimmed up. The Honda Rebel first saw the light of day in 1985 and basically set the tone for a beginner motorcycle overnight. It was light, it was cheap, and it was easy to ride, and they sold a boatload of them. Based on the CM250, which is basically an itty-bitty little UJM, the Rebel was updated with relaxed cruiser ergonomics to compete with the motorcycle legs of the old Yamaha Viragos. Remember those? The Rebel featured a 234cc air-cooled engine that made a blistering 16 horsepower and a face-melting 12 foot-pounds of torque. The bike walked all over the competition, assuming they were parked and you had a stiff breeze at your back. Its one saving grace was it was light at 320 pounds wet, and in 1985 it cost 35 cents, which in today's money comes out to be $2,999. It was carbureted like all bikes made before the Age of Enlightenment and ran off and on for 40 years with a few cosmetic changes, but it stayed more or less the same. That's why you can buy a 2017 Rebel 250 with a drum brake and a carburetor. Seriously. Now, this is normally the point where I talk about the updated version of the motorcycle, but while researching this motorcycle, I noticed something very interesting. Literally no one, no matter what year or what publication, no one would shut up about the Rebel 250's fuel economy. In fact, here's paragraph 2 of the Wikipedia article about the Rebel 250.
The Rebel's fuel consumption averages 52 to 62.6 kilometers per gallon, 62.5 to 75 miles per gallon. The refills needed at around 190 miles per gallon. The Honda Rebel has the best fuel tested 100 kilometers per motorcycle.
Jesus! How can you make motorcycling so unfun? Instead of talking about how cool the Rebel is, or how fun it was to ride, or how everyone loved it, they decided to get really freaking granular about exactly how much gas it was going to take for you to get to work, like you measured your daily allotment of gas before you were allowed to ride your bike. To me, this just means that the Rebel 250 is the pocket protector of motorcycles. Sure, you ride a motorcycle, but you can also count pi out to the 15th decimal place and somehow work your Bachelor's of Science into every conversation. I mean, we all know how much I love me some economics, but I can tell you that basically every single motorcycle out there is going to get at least 35 miles to the gallon, and that's if you're riding like a maniac. Unless it's my Hayabusa, which literally needs gas every time I look at it. That thing's more of an ecological disaster than the Deepwater Horizon. But in 2017, Honda took the tired old Rebel out back and curb stomped it mercilessly like the printer from Office Space and replaced it with a modern interpretation. It came in two flavors, a 300 and a 500. Let's break down the 300 first. It features a 286cc single-cylinder engine poached from the CBR 300R, which makes 27 horsepower and 18 foot-pounds of torque, which isn't exactly a fire breather, but it did weigh 364 pounds, which is basically nothing. When you consider that the Harley-Davidson Street 500 is over 500 pounds, it features optional ABS, which you should always go for, a slipper clutch, LED lights from the factory, and a simplistic LCD dash. Sure, that's not much, but hey, it only costs you $4,799. If you get ABS, then that's not half bad. For comparison, you can get the MT-03 for $4,499, and the little thumper from the Rebel will feel a little more peppy than that little parallel twin. The Rebel 300's marquee features its super low seat height at 27 inches without a rider, which means that it's ladened probably closer to 25 or 26 inches. What that means is literally anyone can flatfoot this motorcycle and be perfectly comfortable. And without an aggressive sport bike tail like the MT-03, there's room for more larger riders to sit on the bike. Still not the most comfortable bike for someone that's more spite-sized, but if you're dead set on starting on a low seat height bike, the 300 is pretty roomy. But while the Rebel 300 offers pretty decent miles per gallon, Honda will do you one better with the Rebel 500. The 500 features the absolutely bulletproof 471cc parallel twin engine making 45 horse and 32 foot-pounds of torque. Once again, Honda stole the engine from one of their sport bikes, in this case the CBR 500R, but you can also find this engine in the CBA 500F and the X models, which are Honda's beginner naked and adventure bike offering. With that extra displacement comes some extra weight in the ABS version, weighing in at 414 pounds wet. It'll cost you a cool $6,499 for the ABS version and has the same features as the 300, which is a little disappointing, and it means you're paying an extra $2,000 for a few extra ponies. While it does have the same seat height and power, it isn't unmanageable, so this bike is the official Yamanoob endorsed starter cruiser if you don't want to be a real boy and get yourself an Iron 883 like the one we're giving away on Yamanoob.co. That link's in the description below if you want to get entered to win and join our awesome community as well. It's worth taking a second to talk about the fact that both the Rebel 300 and 500 feature sport bike engines and what that does to the feel of the bike. It is true that both engines have been down-tuned slightly to make more power down low like you would expect from a cruiser, but when you don't use a dedicated engine, you inherit some of the characteristics of a sport bike. Both these engines like to rev out and tend to be a little buzzy. They don't feel like a twin at all, and they make a sound like it's a little lame, so it's worth bearing in mind if you plan on hanging out with any leather daddy Harley boys. So there's basically no reason to buy a wretched little 250 that tops out at 70 miles per hour in the year 2020. Which of the Rebels should you buy? My inner spec sheet simp, and yes, we all have that urge deep down, says to go for the 500 because of the extra displacement, but $6,500 is a lot of money for a 500, especially when you can get a used XSR 700 for less, and that's sort of cruisery but a little more sporty. I would recommend you buy the 300 used if you just want to learn how to ride, and get the 500 if you want to keep it for a year or two. And now the fun parts where we compare the Honda Rebel to its competition. Since there's not much contest in the 300cc cruiser market, we can pretty much declare it the winner. The 500, on the other hand, there's a lot more bikes to contend with. Let's start with the Harley-Davidson Street 500. The Street features the liquid-cooled 494cc Rev X V-twin engine that makes 30 foot-pounds of torque. Since it's a Harley, you can't measure its horsepower. While it does make more power than the Rebel, it does weigh 500 pounds wet, which means it's slower in a straight line. Its suspension is also hot garbage, and it costs $6,899. If you want it black, it's over $7,000 for any other colorway, so this one's gonna go to the Rebel. Up next is the Harley 883, which features a much larger 883cc V-twin that makes 50 horsepower and 54 foot-pounds? Come on, Yam. Up next is the Harley 883, which features a much larger 883cc V-twin that makes 50 horsepower and 54 foot-pounds of torque. Again, while it does make more power, it's way heavier than the Rebel at 554 pounds wet, which means that not only will the Rebel be faster, but it's easier to pick up if you drop it in a parking lot or something. The 883 is also $8,999, which is way more expensive than the Rebel, but it does have a much higher build quality and feels more substantial. I would say get the Rebel if you don't want to wrench on the bike or customize it, and get the Harley if you want to own one motorcycle for years and years and upgrade it as you gain more experience. The last on our list of comparisons today is the Yamaha Bolt. The Bolt is basically the Japanese Sportster, which means that it's not going to shake your fillings loose, it costs less, and it's more reliable. It's powered by an air-cooled 942cc V-twin making 60 foot-pounds of torque, which puts it at the top of our list in terms of power and what we'd consider respectable for a beginner to ride. It's a little lighter than the 883 at 545 pounds, but it doesn't have the same ludicrous level of customization the way the Sporty does. The Rebel handles better, costs less, but with its lower power that doesn't have the staying power of the Bolt. Once again, I would recommend the Rebel 500 for the person who doesn't know if they want a cruiser or not, and the Bolt to an aspiring cruiser boy who doesn't want the stigma attached to being a Harley-Davidson owner. The Rebel 500 is a really great entry point to motorcycles, even if it's not the most sophisticated and a little dorky and a little bit expensive, but it is a Honda. If you want a motorcycle that will turn on every day, be comfortable to ride, and has enough power to play with, and all that Honda build quality, look no further than the Rebel. This one is Yami approved.
Hey, you adorable little squid. Thanks for watching the video. Why don't you click on this one right here and keep watching? Don't worry, I'll wait. Just like this. Click the video. Do it now.